I haven't said this in a while, but what is going on, beautiful people? I would like to welcome you to the reboot of the Chargers franchise here on Madden NFL 21, and I got some explaining to do. So basically the reason that this series and basically most of my YouTube stuff has stopped for a while is because I kind of just lost interest in doing this type of content for a little bit. A lot of craziness happened towards the end of 2020, and I just decided to focus on Twitch for a while, but we are back. I don't think I'm going to do everyday uploads, but we are back with a few series, including this one. So if you want to see the series continue, then make sure you guys hit that like button. So the reason I had to restart is because for whatever reason the save file was lost from the old Chargers series. Otherwise I would have just picked up from where I left off. Would have been a lot easier that way. So I just decided to make a new franchise with the Chargers, and I force win, force loss every single game as it was in the actual 2020 season. I tried my best to make it as close to what happened in real life as possible. Now, unfortunately, with the Eagles-Bengals game, which ended in a tie, I wasn't able to do anything with that. So I ended up just making it so Philly got the win in that situation. So instead of being 4-11-1, they're 5-11, and the Bengals, instead of being 4-11-1, they're 4-12. But yeah, I even forced win the Super Bowl, and it was a lot closer than the Super Bowl in real life. And Ndamukong Suh ended up being the Super Bowl MVP. A lot of different award winners there. So we're gonna go into the offseason to open up the series. As you see the retirements, we had Greg Olsen retire. Phillip Rivers retired. Steven Gostkowski retired. Edelman retired as well. So did Amendola. AP, Adam Vinatieri, Frank Gore. Larry Fitzgerald retired as well. A lot of retirements that didn't actually happen in real life ended up happening in this series. The craziest retirement, though, was Pete Carroll retiring from the Seahawks. So that was a big shocker there. So now let's go into the re-signing period, and the only Charger that I even decided to re-sign here was tight end Hunter Henry. Now, in real life, obviously the Chargers let him go in free agency, but I was not going to make the same mistake. So gave him a 5-year deal worth over $50 million, and he accepted it. Everybody else ended up leaving in free agency. I didn't even make him an offer. So now we go to free agency, and I decided to offer Josh Rosen a 1-year deal worth $2.38 million. I like Easton Stick, but I feel like he can use some competition as far as being the backup quarterback. And I also decided to offer John Ross a 1-year deal worth $4.19 million. Now, yeah, I know that we have Jalen Guyton, and he's a pretty good slot receiver, but I just feel like this offense could use a lot more speed, and John Ross has that speed. We'll see if he can be more productive for the Chargers than he was with the Bengals. So I decided to look for a second tight end. The first guy I'm going to look at here is Cameron Brate. I decided not to offer him at first, and I decided to pursue Jared Cook, the former Titan. And he's 34 years old, so I'm probably going to get one good year out of him. So I offered him a 1-year deal worth around $7 or $8 million. Also decided to offer Matt Filer a contract as well, with Forrest Lamp leaving. And before I recorded this video, I had no idea that Filer actually signed with the Chargers in real life, so bit of a coincidence there. And I'd also decided to offer a contract to Matt Skura with Mike Pouncey leaving. Skura, of course, the former Ravens center. So building the offensive line through free agency, and then we're looking to bring in a big guy at right guard, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the former Kansas City Chief, who sat out last season, of course. And he's a guy that I could possibly move to right tackle if need be. I offer him a 1-year deal worth $8.15 million. The plan here is to move Duvernay-Tardif to right tackle and then move Brian Bulaga to left tackle. I also offered a contract to Kevin Pierre-Louis, the former Washington linebacker, just to give Kaiser White a little bit of a push at left outside linebacker. And with the Chargers getting older at corner, I decided to offer Mike Hilton a contract, 3 years worth $28.9 million. Chris Harris Jr. and Casey Hayward Jr. are just getting up there in age, and I might look to trade both of them at some point in the first season. So I offered him a contract. Nobody else offered him anything. And then I decided to go with a big contract for Marcus Williams, who is infamous for being the one who missed the tackle on the Minneapolis Miracle. So we'll see if we can rewrite his narrative here in Los Angeles and offer him a deal there. And with Michael Badgley leaving in free agency, I also decided to offer Legatron a contract. Greg Zuerlein gets a 1-year deal worth $3.53 million. So we look at the second week of free agency. Most of the guys that we offered signed with us outside of Jared Cook. He decided to go sign with the Patriots, with tight end being a big need with them, with us re-signing Hunter Henry and the Titans re-signing Jonnu Smith. They weren't able to get him. But everybody else signed their contracts with us pretty much. And as you can see, Cook decided to go to the Patriots, so they get a pretty solid starter at tight end. So we decided to finally offer Cameron Brate a deal here, 1 year worth $4.63 million, to be the number 2 tight end behind Hunter Henry. So Derwin James is in the final year of his contract, so now we have an opportunity to exercise his 5th-year option. And with him being an FSU guy and me being a huge FSU fan, and him overall just being a great strong safety, I'm of course going to pick up his 5th-year option. I mean, come on now, what kind of FSU fan would I be if I didn't? So I do pick up his 5th-year option, and he'll be paid like he's a top 10 safety next year. I mean, he is a top 10 safety, so I think that's fair. So Derwin James is locked up for another year, and Cameron Brate accepts his contract with us, as does John Ross. So only Jared Cook declined us, so now we look at the rest of free agency. Richard Sherman goes to the Raiders. Rob Gronkowski goes to the Panthers, as does Melvin Ingram. Curtis Samuel goes to Washington like he did in real life. Leonard Williams goes to the Ravens. Hassan Reddick going to the Jets. Cook goes to the Patriots, as we mentioned. Trey Hendrickson goes to the Jaguars. Ronald Darby to the Giants. Earl Thomas goes to the Raiders. Devin Funchess goes to the Jets. Avery Williamson and Xavier Rhodes go to the Dolphins. Tim Patrick goes to the Patriots. T.Y. Hilton goes to Washington. Rankins goes to Arizona, and Ndamukong Suh goes to Arizona. Marvin Jones to Seattle. Damian Williams to the Jets. Garyon Conley back with the Browns. Gerald Everett goes to the Jags. James White goes to the Dolphins. Carl Joseph stays with the Raiders. Mike Pouncey goes to the Giants. Trey Burton to the Bengals. Trey Turner to the Colts. Josh Reynolds to the Ravens. Jordan Lewis to the Panthers. Charvarius Ward goes to the Jets. Trey Herndon goes to the Washington football team. Samson Ebukam goes to the Jets. And just a few other notable ones. Daquan Jones goes to the Broncos. And Clinton Dix went to the Dolphins. And I just kind of went through the rest of these. You guys can pause if you need to. But no real shockers here. Nothing really too notable at all. So now we go into the NFL draft, and let me tell you guys, some of the things that happen here are absolutely crazy. We'll start with the first pick. The Jaguars with the first pick. You'd think they're getting Trevor Lawrence, right? Wrong. They get Penei Sewell out of Oregon. So I guess they're going to stick with Minshew Mania for another season. That is absolutely insane to me that they passed on Lawrence. So now the Jets have the second pick here. And surely you'd think that they're going to go with Lawrence here. I mean, quarterback is a big need for them. Obviously, Sam Darnold probably isn't the guy for them anymore. And they decided to go with Lawrence at number 2. So they luck out because of the Jaguars being the Jaguars. I mean, that's the Khan family for you, I guess. So at pick number 3, the Falcons decide that they are going to go with Micah Parsons, the middle linebacker out of Penn State. A bit of a shocker. I thought they might go quarterback here, but I guess they're looking to switch to a 3-4 or maybe replace Deion Jones. I'm not quite sure what they're thinking here, but anyways, the Bengals pick number 4. They're going to go with Jamar Chase. Not a shocker here, with Penei Sewell being off the board. I think it made that pick really easy for them. So Joe Burrow gets his boy from LSU back. So pick number 5, the Detroit Lions decide that they are going to go with Devontae Smith. Also keep in mind that the Lions still do have Kenny Golladay in this universe, so they have a pretty good 1-2 punch at receiver now. And the Panthers decide to go with Jalen Waddle. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't go quarterback here with Zach Wilson still on the board, but they did need to replace Curtis Samuel. The Broncos shock me here by picking Kyle Pitts because they still have Noah Fant. But Pitts is one of the best players in the draft, so I'm not too shocked. At pick number 8, the Dolphins keep it in the family by drafting Patrick Surtain Jr. His father did play for him back in the day when I was younger, so interesting pick there. Now the Eagles with pick number 9. Just keep in mind they still have Carson Wentz in this universe, so take that for what you will. Caleb Farley is the pick at number 9, the cornerback out of Virginia Tech. And now them boys picking at number 10. They get Gregory Rousseau, the right end out of Miami. They could definitely use some pass rush help. And at pick number 11, the New York Football Giants get Kwity Paye, the right end out of Michigan. So that's a pretty solid pick for the G-men. And at pick number 12, the 49ers select J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of South Carolina. Pretty solid pick. The Niners could use some help in the secondary. And the Chargers pick at 13 in real life, but for some reason they had the Vikings picking in front of them, and that's going to loom large because the Vikings steal the guy I was going to get. They get Rashawn Slater, the left tackle out of Northwestern. I was actually going to get Slater, but hey, them's the breaks sometimes, I guess. So instead of picking anybody here, I decide that I am actually going to trade back here. There just wasn't really anybody I could justify picking at 14 that really filled a need for us, so I decided to trade back to 21 and pick up a second rounder and a 7th rounder for next year. The seconds for this year, the 7ths for next. So now the Colts at number 14 pick Zach Wilson, so he finally gets selected at pick number 14. So good on him. Obviously the Colts didn't get Carson Wentz in this universe, so they end up drafting Wilson, and it works out for both of us. At pick number 15, the New England Patriots decide to get Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle out of Virginia Tech. I thought they might go quarterback here, but I guess not. At pick 16, the Cardinals get Azeez Ojulari. I'm not quite sure why his name is censored here, but that's probably their replacement for Hassan Reddick. And then the Raiders end up getting Jalen Mayfield, the tackle out of Michigan. Then the Dolphins, with their second pick, get Rashad Bateman, the receiver out of Minnesota. So Tua Tagovailoa gets another weapon. And Washington gets their quarterback of the future by drafting Mac Jones at number 19. So they take him over Trey Lance and Justin Fields. At pick number 20, the Bears decide to go with Tevin Jenkins. That was another guy I was thinking about getting. So the right tackle at Oklahoma State's off the board. So now I decided to go with my backup plan. And instead of getting a tackle, I'm going to draft right guard Quinn Miners out of Wisconsin Whitewater. And now I'm going to push Laurent Duvernay-Tardif to right tackle and Bulaga over to left tackle. So Miners is the pick here. Apparently I reached by picking him 5 picks ahead of what his value was. But he's a 74 overall, hidden dev. So I'm happy with the pick here. And again, the end game here is moving Duvernay-Tardif to right tackle and Bulaga to left tackle. But his run blocking is a 78 and his strength is a 91, impact blocking 86. So I would say I got a pretty good pick here at number 21. I want to build a solid offensive line in front of Justin Herbert, as well as build a pretty good blocking line for Austin Ekeler as well. So now at pick number 22, the Tennessee Titans get Samuel Cosme, which is a real head scratcher here because Tennessee definitely doesn't need offensive linemen. But whatever, it's just a game, I guess. Pick number 23, the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, and they decide they're going to get Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. He's a right tackle, 70 overall. Not a bad pick there to replace Alejandro Villanueva. And the Jets pick Creed Humphrey, the center out of Oklahoma. So they continue to build an offensive line in front of Trevor Lawrence now. And then the Jaguars get Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker out of Notre Dame. Solid pick for Jacksonville there. But I guess they are fine with Minshew Mania. The Browns end up picking Osa Odigizua out of UCLA. Probably completely butchered his name. I apologize. Pick number 27, the Ravens pick up Trevor Moehrig out of TCU, so they get a strong safety there. At pick number 28, the Saints pick up Elijah Vera Tucker, the offensive lineman, out of USC. And then at pick number 29, the Buffalo Bills get Pat Freiermuth, the tight end out of Penn State. So could they be moving on from Dawson Knox? We'll have to see. At pick number 30, the Packers on the clock, and they decide to go with Jason Owe, the left end out of Penn State. Sorry if I'm butchering some of these names. I don't watch a ton of college football. But now pick 31, the defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. They have a few needs that they can address here, and they are going to go with right guard Wyatt Davis out of The Ohio State University. That's probably their replacement for Duvernay Tardif. And Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers at pick number 32 go with Carlos Basham Jr., the right end out of Wake Forest. So the rich get richer, I guess. And now we go to pick number 14 for the Chargers. And I was actually thinking about getting Chuba Hubbard here, but I decided to wait on him. I still have another second at pick number 21, and instead I go with Trey Hill, the center out of Georgia, to continue to build the offensive line. And as you can see, his impact blocking is really good, and he ends up being another hidden dev, 73 overall, and he's ranked 30th in true value, and I got him at 46. So that is a pretty big steal, especially because he was projected in the 3rd round. So we get our replacement for Mike Pouncey, and 89 strength, 76 run blocking, 76 pass blocking. Overall, he is a pretty solid center. And he might not have to start right away, obviously, with us getting Matt Filer and Matt Skura. So we'll just have to see how that develops. And we go to pick number 21, and we're not going to take any chances here. We're going to draft Chuba Hubbard, the running back out of Oklahoma State. So I know my boy Breezes is happy about this. And he's a 75 overall, normal dev, but we get a pretty solid backup for Austin Ekeler. Now we still have Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly and a few other running backs as well, but none of them have the speed that Hubbard has. He has 95 speed, 95 acceleration, 86 agility, and we could work on his catching and route running as well a little bit, but he's going to be the running back 2 behind Ekeler, and maybe one day he'll even replace him. So now round 3, we decided to go with Tyreek Johnson, the cornerback out of The Ohio State University. He's a 71 overall hidden dev. And again, with Chris Harris Jr. and Casey Hayward getting up there in age, I definitely need to get younger at corner. We did get Mike Hilton, and Johnson is just another piece to that puzzle as well. Does have to work on his man and zone coverage a little bit, but overall, a solid selection for the Chargers. So now we go to round 4, and I decide that I'm going to go for depth here, and I'm going to get Cal linebacker Coin Dang. And I checked, that's how you pronounce his name, Coin Dang, not Kuoni, it's Coin. He's a 69 overall, haha, nice. And overall, I feel like it was a pretty good pick at the place that I got him. 81 tackling, 83 speed, 88 acceleration. He'll probably be a special teamer to start off at very least. So now we go into the 5th round, and I decided to take another risk here by getting another linebacker, Matt Lorbeck, out of Northern Iowa. Now he'll probably end up playing right end in our system, and he's another 69 overall. Nice. And he was projected to be undrafted, but we get him in the 5th round. And that's pretty damn good value if you ask me. Now, Joey Bosa and Uchenna Nwosu are going to be my starting pass rushers, but Lorbeck could definitely find his way into the rotation with his skill set. So now we go to round 6, and we're going to double dip on pokes here. We're going to go get a second Oklahoma State player for my boy Breezes, Colby Harvell-Peel, the free safety. So we're giving Nazir Adderley a little bit of competition for the backup free safety role. Obviously, Marcus Williams is going to be the starter here. He's only a 65 overall, and we reached a little bit to get him, but he has 88 speed, 90 acceleration. So this is another guy who will probably play primarily special teams for us early on in his career. And then with the 7th round pick, I had to get one Florida State guy. I thought about Amza Nasruddin, but instead I get Leonard Warner III, the middle linebacker, and mistakes were made, basically, ladies and gentlemen. 56 overall, and he was ranked 436 in true value. So, not one of my better picks in the history of this channel, but hey, I had to get one FSU guy, right? So that's going to do it for the offseason pretty much. I feel like we got a pretty good draft class, and we got a lot of really good free agents as well. So I'm excited to get this reboot started, and I hope you guys are excited to see me back on YouTube as well. If you guys are hyped for this series, again, let me know by hitting that like button, leaving a comment down below, and sharing this video as well. We're back on the YouTube grind, ladies and gentlemen. And if you just so happen to be new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that sub button and turn your notifications on to join the notification gang. That way every time I upload a video, you guys will be notified. We're going to keep this mofo rolling here, guys. And if you guys want to see more from this channel, then make sure you guys check out the playlist and the video in front of you.